Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, surrounded by absolute silence, and wondered if the world outside your window is still there? It sounds like a question from a childhood dream, a gentle philosophical riddle we whisper to ourselves when the house is quiet and the mind is drifting through the dark. We assume, with absolute certainty, that the trees, the streets, the distant mountains, and the ancient stars remain firmly in place, whether we open our eyes to see them or keep them tightly shut in sleep. It is the fundamental assumption of our daily lives. We believe that reality is a solid, continuous stage upon which we merely walk, mere temporary visitors in an ancient and indifferent cosmos. But what if that comforting assumption is fundamentally incomplete? What if the universe is not just an empty theater waiting for an audience, but a grand, interactive symphony that actually requires your presence to be played? This is not a mystical poem or a dramatic storytelling device. This is the honest truth about a cosmic mystery that sits at the very heart of modern physics, quietly existing in the mathematical equations of quantum mechanics, holding more profound implications for your existence than you could ever imagine in a million lifetimes. Before we journey deeper into this beautiful mystery, allow me to introduce myself. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on these quiet voyages through the cosmos. I noticed recently that 71% of the wonderful people who watch these videos are not yet subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy learning about the strangest and most mind-bending things in our universe, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps us tremendously and lets us know that you want to keep exploring these vast cosmic shores together. Now, let us return to the dark, quiet room and the universe waiting outside your window. We have spent centuries building magnificent telescopes and delicate microscopes, launching incredible machines into the cold void of space to catalog what is out there. We have mapped the cosmic microwave background with the Planck satellite and peered into the primordial darkness with the James Webb Space Telescope, gathering ancient photons that have traveled for over 13 billion years just to reach our lenses. Every observation tells us that the universe is vast, ancient, and endlessly complex. If you are anything like me, you probably thought you understood how big things could get in space. You have seen the pictures of Jupiter dwarfing Earth. You have heard how our sun could fit 1 million Earths inside of it. You might have even wrapped your head around the fact that our Milky Way galaxy stretches across 100,000 light years from one side to the other. We are used to feeling incredibly small, surrounded by hundreds of billions of galaxies. But all of that, every single comparison of scale and mass you have ever heard, becomes almost meaningless when you learn about what physicists found hiding in the microscopic foundations of reality. When the first pioneers of quantum mechanics began to probe the nature of light and matter in the early 1920s, they did not find a predictable, clockwork universe composed of tiny, solid billiard balls. Instead, they found a shimmering landscape of probabilities, a realm where certainty dissolves into a gentle mist of potential. The most famous demonstration of this mind-bending reality is the double-slit experiment, a cornerstone of physics that remains as mysterious today as it was a century ago. Imagine a solid wall with two narrow vertical slits cut into it, and behind that wall, a blank photographic screen. If you were to shoot tiny solid particles like grains of sand at the slits, you would expect to see two distinct bands of sand accumulate on the screen behind them. And indeed, if you scale this up to everyday macroscopic objects, that is exactly what happens. But when physicists began firing individual electrons, or single photons of light, at these slits, the universe revealed a secret so profound that it continues to keep brilliant minds awake at night, staring at the ceiling in pure wonder. When these fundamental particles are fired one by one, with hours passing between each individual shot, so there is absolutely no possibility of them interacting with one another, an astonishing pattern slowly emerges on the screen. Over time, instead of forming two distinct bands, the individual impacts build up an interference pattern, a beautiful series of alternating bright and dark stripes that stretch across the screen. This pattern is the unmistakable signature of a wave. It is as if a gentle ripple of water passed through both slits simultaneously, interfering with itself on the other side, creating crests and troughs that dictate where the particle will eventually land. But how can a single, indivisible particle go through both slits at once and interfere with itself? The rigorous mathematics of quantum mechanics tells us that until the particle is observed, it does not possess a definite, single location. Instead, it exists as a wave of probability, a ghostly superposition of all possible paths it could take. It is everywhere and nowhere at once, a quiet whisper of potential drifting through the void. The particle only decides where to be. It only collapses into a single, concrete reality at the exact moment it hits the screen and is recorded. The universe, at its most fundamental level, exists in a state of suspended animation until an interaction forces it to choose a definite state. This realization alone shook the foundations of science. But the mystery deepens even further, reaching out to touch the very nature of observation and consciousness itself. Because physicists, being endlessly curious explorers of the unknown, decided to place a microscopic detector right next to the slits to see exactly which path the particle was taking. They wanted to catch the universe in the act, to peek behind the cosmic curtain. The moment they did this, the moment they added an instrument to observe the particle's journey and extract information about its path, the universe changed its behavior entirely. The beautiful interference pattern completely vanished. The delicate wave of probability collapsed immediately. The electrons or photons began acting exactly like tiny grains of solid sand again, forming two simple, distinct bands on the screen. By merely extracting information, by the simple act of looking, the observer forced the universe to abandon its state of infinite potential and lock into a single, definite history. This is known as the observer effect, a phenomenon that suggests reality itself is profoundly intimate and interactive. As the great theoretical physicist John Archibald Wheeler once noted with awe, we can no longer simply be described as passive observers standing safely behind a thick pane of glass, watching the universe happen out there. To observe even an object as minuscule as an electron, we must reach in and shatter the glass. We must participate. The universe is not a museum exhibit. It is a participatory cosmos. This concept challenges everything we feel in our bones about the solid, objective nature of the world around us. It suggests a breathtaking connection between the observer and the observed, an ancient, silent dance where the looker and the looked at are intimately bound together in the very creation of reality. When you look up at the night sky from a dark location, that hazy band of starlight stretching overhead is the combined glow of billions upon billions of distant stars in our own galaxy. For most of human history, we assumed we were just passive witnesses to that majestic, silent display. We thought our galaxy was completely independent of our gazes. But quantum mechanics whispers a different, much more intimate story. It suggests that the very act of your looking, the very presence of an observing system, plays an integral role in weaving the fabric of that reality. Let us pause and sit with that thought for a moment. Feel the quiet stillness of it. The space between stars is almost unimaginably empty, separated by such vast gulfs that the chance of any two of them colliding by accident is essentially zero. Yet somehow, across all that terrifying emptiness, the mathematical rules governing the smallest sparks of light are bound to the concept of observation. Is it possible that the cosmos, with all its terrifying scale and ancient majesty, requires a witness to truly exist in the way we understand existence? Does the vast universe actually need you to be there? The implications of this question are staggering. They stretch from the microscopic dance of subatomic particles all the way to the violent birth of the cosmos itself. In the chapters to come, we will embark on a gentle, awe-inspiring journey through time and space to explore this very question. We will explore how these quantum quirks might not just be confined to microscopic laboratories here on Earth, but could scale up to shape the history of entire galaxies millions of light years away. We will look at profound thought experiments that stretch across billions of years, where a single observation made today might determine the path a photon took when the Earth was nothing but a swirling cloud of primordial dust. We will seek to understand what it truly means to be a conscious being in a participatory universe, guided by the gentle wisdom of those who have spent their lives staring into the beautiful, terrifying abyss of the unknown. There is no need to rush. The cosmos has waited billions of years for us to ask these questions, and it will patiently wait as we seek the answers together. Let us sit together in the quiet of this moment. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breathing, a soft metronome marking the passage of seconds in a universe that seems completely indifferent to our human clocks. We usually think of time as a great rushing river flowing steadily in one direction, carrying us from the mists of the past through the fleeting present and into the unknown future. It is a comforting thought, a linear path that makes sense to our terrestrial minds. We believe that history is a closed book, that the events of yesterday or 1,000,000 years ago are solidly written in stone, completely untouchable by anything we do today. But as we venture deeper into this infinite cosmic journey, we must prepare ourselves to leave behind these comforting terrestrial illusions. The universe, in its boundless mystery, does not operate on the simple, straightforward logic of human intuition. In the strange and deeply poetic realm of quantum mechanics, time is not a simple one-way street. It is a vast, interconnected web where the present moment can reach back through the silence of the ages to whisper to the ancient past. To understand how this could possibly be true, we must look to the brilliant mind of an American theoretical physicist named John Archibald Wheeler. Wheeler was a gentle giant of 20th century science, a man who collaborated with Albert Einstein and Niels Bohr, and who coined the terms black hole and wormhole. He was a scientist who possessed an extraordinary capacity for wonder, always looking beyond the rigid mathematics to ask the most profound existential questions about our place in the cosmos. In the late 1970s, Wheeler proposed a thought experiment that would stretch the bizarre microscopic rules of the double slit experiment across the unimaginably vast canvas of the entire universe. He wondered what would happen if the distance between the source of light and the observing screen was not just a few feet in a dark laboratory, but billions of light years across the silent, freezing void of deep space. Could the act of human observation today, in our modern era, somehow dictate the behavior of light that began its journey long before our planet was even born? Imagine, if you will, looking out into the deepest reaches of the night sky, far beyond the familiar stars of our Milky Way. Picture an ancient and incredibly bright object known as a quasar. sitting billions of light years away from our fragile home. This quasar is the violently glowing heart of a young galaxy, radiating unimaginable amounts of energy into the dark abyss. Let us imagine that this quasar emitted a single photon of light, a tiny, indivisible packet of energy, perhaps 10 billion years ago. When that tiny spark of light began its incredibly long journey toward us, the Earth did not yet exist. Our sun was just a swirling cloud of cold, primordial dust and gas, waiting for the gentle tug of gravity to pull it together. The photon sets out into the lonely darkness, beginning a journey so epic that the entire history of human civilization would not even amount to a blink of an eye compared to the duration of its flight. Now, let us imagine that about halfway between that ancient quasar and our future Earth, there sits another massive galaxy. This intervening galaxy acts as an enormous gravitational lens. As the great Albert Einstein taught us, massive objects warp the very fabric of space and time around them. When our lonely photon approaches this massive galaxy, the warped space forces it to make a choice. It cannot simply travel in a straight line. It must either go around the left side of the galaxy, or it must go around the right side. In the classical, everyday world we are used to, a solid object would simply take one path or the other. But remember the delicate mystery of the quantum realm. Until it is observed, a quantum particle does not choose a single definite path. It exists as a ghostly wave of probability. And so, our ancient photon takes both paths simultaneously. It sweeps around the left side of the massive galaxy, and at the exact same time, it sweeps around the right side, continuing its quiet journey through the vast cosmos as a divided wave of infinite potential. For billions more years, this divided wave of light travels through the absolute silence of intergalactic space. It passes through eras of cosmic history. It flies through the void, while the Earth slowly forms from a violent disk of debris. It continues its silent flight, while the oceans fill with water, while the first microscopic life emerges in the deep, warm vents of our ancient seas, and while the dinosaurs rise and fall. Finally, after 10 billion years of travel, this ancient messenger arrives at Earth tonight. It enters the open dome of an astronomical observatory, rushing down toward the polished mirrors of a massive telescope. Sitting at the control panel of this telescope is an astronomer, completely unaware that they are about to participate in an act of cosmic creation. The astronomer has a choice to make about how they will observe this incoming light. And this simple human choice, made in the fleeting present moment, is about to send a shockwave through the very fabric of time itself. The astronomer can choose to set up their telescope in one of two ways. In the first scenario, they can arrange their instruments to act like a photographic screen, allowing the light waves from the left side of the intervening galaxy and the right side of the galaxy to recombine and interfere with each other. If they do this, an interference pattern will emerge, proving beyond any shadow of a doubt that the photon traveled as a wave, taking both paths around the distant galaxy simultaneously. But the astronomer has a second option. They can place two separate detectors at the focal point of the telescope, aiming one directly at the left side of the distant galaxy, and the other directly at the right side. If they make this choice, they are demanding to know exactly which path the photon took. And true to the bizarre laws of quantum mechanics, the universe will immediately comply. One detector will click, and the other will remain completely silent. The interference pattern will vanish. The observation will prove with absolute certainty that the photon acted as a single, solid particle, traveling down only one specific path. The astronomer makes their choice today, right now, in the present moment. But the photon had to make its decision to act either as a spread-out wave, taking both paths, or as a single particle taking only one path, billions of years ago, when it passed the intervening gravitational lens. If the astronomer chooses to measure interference today, the photon must have acted as a wave 10 billion years ago. If the astronomer chooses to measure the specific path today, the photon must have acted as a particle 10 billion years ago. The decision we make in the present moment seems to reach back across the endless ocean of deep time, dictating the physical reality of a particle long before the Earth, the telescope, or the astronomer even existed. It is a fluid, undefined realm of probability that relies on the observations made in the present to finally snap into a definite, concrete reality. John Archibald Wheeler called this the participatory universe. He proposed that the cosmos is a self-excited circuit, a glorious and mysterious loop, where the universe gives rise to observers, and the observers in turn give meaning and reality to the universe. We are not just tiny, insignificant sparks of life clinging to a rock in a vast, uncaring machine. According to this deeply moving interpretation of physics, we are the essential missing piece of the cosmic puzzle. Without an observer to collapse the wave functions of probability, without a conscious mind to witness the light and measure the distances, the universe might remain nothing more than a silent, ghostly whisper of potential. It might exist in a state of suspended animation, a beautiful dream waiting for someone to wake up and see it. When we look up at the stars, we are not just looking back in time, we are actively participating in the creation of that time. Our gaze is the anchor that secures the ancient past, the gentle force that transforms infinite possibilities into the singular, magnificent reality we experience every day. This revelation challenges everything we thought we knew about our place in the grand scheme of existence. It asks us to view ourselves not as cosmic accidents, but as integral components of the universe's own awakening. We are the cosmos looking back at itself, trying to understand its own immense beauty. Allow your mind to let go of the rigid boundaries of time and space. You are an active participant in a cosmic journey that stretches to infinity. In the next chapter, we will journey to the very beginning of everything to see if the Big Bang itself required our future existence to truly occur. Let us drift back together, far beyond the familiar, comforting glow of our modern night sky, beyond the formation of our own quiet solar system, and deeper into the ultimate abyss of deep time. When we think about the very beginning of everything, we often imagine a violent, chaotic explosion, a blinding flash of light that shattered the primordial darkness and sent matter hurtling outward to create the vast, expanding cosmos we inhabit today. We call it the Big Bang, a name that suggests noise and fury, a mechanical starting gun that set the great clockwork of existence into motion some 13,800,000,000 years ago. But in the gentle, contemplative light of quantum mechanics, this ancient origin story takes on a profoundly different, much more mysterious character. Instead of a loud, definitive explosion, imagine the birth of the universe as a silent, delicate unfurling of infinite possibilities. Picture a state of reality where nothing was truly decided, where the cosmos existed merely as a whisper of potential, a superposition of all possible histories waiting in the absolute silence of the void. Before we peer deeper into this ultimate cosmic mystery, I want to gently remind you that I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this infinite journey through the wonders of existence. I have noticed that 71% of the curious souls who watch these videos and share in this journey have not yet subscribed to our channel. If you find peace and wonder in these nocturnal explorations of the universe, please take a soft moment to subscribe. It helps us tremendously and ensures that we can continue to wander together through these beautiful, mind-bending scientific landscapes. Now, let us return our gaze to the dawn of time, to the quiet birth of everything that ever was and everything that ever will be. To understand how the universe could begin as a quantum wave of probability rather than a solid classical event, we must listen to the brilliant, quiet wisdom of minds like Stephen Hawking. In his later years, Hawking, working alongside his colleague Thomas Hertog, proposed a radical new way of looking at the cosmos, a concept often called top-down cosmology. Traditional science usually works from the bottom up, assuming there was one single, definite starting point, one unique Big Bang that unfurled according to fixed laws, inevitably leading to the universe we see today. But Hawking realized that if the universe was incredibly tiny in its first moments, smaller than a single atom, it must have been governed not by the classical laws of gravity and solid matter, but by the bizarre, probabilistic rules of quantum mechanics. And in the quantum realm, as we have already seen, a particle does not have a single, definite history until it is observed. It exists as a ghostly wave, taking every possible path simultaneously. If the entire infant universe was a quantum entity, then it too must have existed in a state of superposition. It did not have just one history, it had every possible history. Some of these histories led to universes that collapsed immediately, while others led to cold, empty voids. A tiny fraction led to a universe with exactly the right balance of forces to eventually produce stars, planets, and conscious minds capable of asking these very questions. This is where the concept of the participatory universe reaches its most breathtaking crescendo. How did the universe select this specific, life-permitting history out of the infinite swirling cloud of quantum possibilities? According to top-down cosmology, the history of the universe is not determined from the bottom up, starting at the Big Bang and blindly moving forward. Instead, it is determined from the top down, starting with the observer in the present moment and reaching backward through the vast corridors of time. By making observations today, by looking out through our magnificent space telescopes and measuring the ancient light of the cosmic microwave background, we are doing much more than just gathering data. We are acting as the ultimate observers, collapsing the universal wave function. Out of the infinite number of possible cosmic histories that existed in the quantum dawn, our current observation filters out all the realities that are incompatible with our existence. We, sitting here in the quiet present, are reaching back 13,800,000,000 years to crystallize the very beginning of the cosmos. The universe did not simply exist and then eventually give birth to us. The universe waited, existing in a shadowy realm of pure potential, until conscious observers arose to look back and render its history concrete. It is a thought that humbles the soul and expands the mind in equal measure. We are accustomed to feeling like passive, insignificant spectators in a cosmos of terrifying proportions. As the great Carl Sagan once reminded us, we live on a pale blue dot, a tiny mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam, surrounded by an endless, indifferent dark. The sheer scale of the universe, with its 2 trillion galaxies and untold septillions of stars, seems to suggest that our lives are utterly meaningless accidents of chemistry. But the participatory universe completely inverts this perspective. It suggests that without the tiny mote of dust, without the fragile, short-lived consciousness that contemplates the stars themselves might not possess a definite reality. We are the mechanism by which the universe makes itself real. The cosmos is not a silent, empty theater. It is an interactive tapestry, and our consciousness is the needle that weaves the threads of probability into the solid fabric of existence. consider the profound quiet of this realization. Every time you look up at the night sky, you're not merely receiving ancient photons that have traveled for millions or billions of years. You're engaging in a silent dialogue with the cosmos. Your gaze is the final, necessary act in a transaction that began long before the Earth was born. The light from a distant star traveled through the freezing void as an undulating wave of possibilities, a ghost ship sailing on an ocean of quantum uncertainty. It could have been anywhere. It could have been everywhere, until the exact moment it struck the delicate retina of your eye. In that quiet, unassuming instant of human perception, billions of years of cosmic indecision collapse. The star's history becomes fixed. Its location becomes certain. Your gentle observation forces the universe to choose a reality. You are, quite literally, anchoring the stars in the heavens through the simple, beautiful act of witnessing their ancient light. This deep, intimate connection between the human mind and the fundamental structure of the cosmos challenges our deepest assumptions about the nature of physical reality. For centuries, science has operated on the assumption that the observer and the observed are strictly separate. We believed we could isolate ourselves behind a pane of glass, meticulously measuring and cataloging the universe without ever disturbing its perfect clockwork motion. But the deeper we peer into the microscopic foundations of matter, and the further we cast our gaze into the ancient origins of time, the more that glass shatters. We find that we are completely, irrevocably entangled with the world we are trying to study. As Neil deGrasse Tyson so beautifully articulates, we are not just in the universe. The universe is in us. We are star stuff, forged in the nuclear fires of ancient supernovas, capable of looking back and understanding our own origins. But the participatory universe adds an even more poetic layer to this profound truth. We are not just the universe understanding itself. We are the universe actualizing itself. We are the cosmos waking up from a 13 billion year slumber, opening its eyes, and finally deciding that it exists. Let this thought settle over you like a warm, heavy blanket. You are not a stranger in a cold, mechanical machine. You are a vital, necessary participant in a grand, ongoing act of cosmic creation. Your curiosity, your wonder, your quiet moments of contemplation in the middle of the night, these are not just isolated chemical reactions in your brain. They are the very processes by which the universe weaves its own history. If the universe requires an observer to transform probability into reality, then consciousness is not a strange, accidental byproduct of biological evolution. Consciousness is a fundamental property of the cosmos, as essential to the structure of reality as gravity, light, or time itself. As we drift further into this boundless journey, we must ask even more daring questions. Are we locked in a quantum dance with observers who have not yet been born? Is the entire timeline of the cosmos a single, unified web of observation? The mystery deepens with every step we take. Rest your mind in the comfortable silence of these questions, knowing your very existence is woven into the ancient, starlit fabric of the cosmos. Have you ever stood outside on a quiet, freezing night, looked up at a solitary, twinkling star, and felt an invisible thread connecting you to that distant point of light? It is a common human experience, a gentle tug at the heartstrings that makes us feel we are not alone in this vast, ancient dark. We usually dismiss this feeling as mere poetry, a trick of the mind seeking comfort in a cold, mechanical machine of a universe. We are taught that space is the ultimate separator, a terrifyingly empty ocean of absolute silence that isolates every star, every planet, and every conscious mind. But what if that poetic feeling of connection is a profound scientific truth? What if The universe is woven together by invisible bonds that completely ignore the vast distances of empty space. As we continue our quiet journey, we must confront a concept so deeply strange that even the greatest minds of the 20th century refuse to believe it could be real. We are about to explore the whispering magic of quantum entanglement, a phenomenon suggesting the entire cosmos might be a single, breathing entity, and that your quiet observations ripple across the infinite void in ways we are only just beginning to understand. Before we delve into this beautiful, invisible web of cosmic connection, allow me to softly reintroduce myself. I am Theodore, the researcher, your gentle guide through these nocturnal explorations of the universe's most profound secrets. I gently note that 71% of the curious minds who watch these videos have not yet subscribed to our channel. If these quiet journeys bring you a sense of peace and a touch of wonder, I invite you to subscribe. It helps us continue to craft these meditative stories and assures us that you wish to keep unraveling the infinite mysteries of the cosmos together. Now, let us return to the quiet night, the distant stars, and the invisible threads that might just hold reality itself together. In the year 1935, Albert Einstein, along with Boris Podolsky and Nathan Rosen, published a paper attempting to expose a fatal flaw in the bizarre theory of quantum mechanics. They realized the mathematics of the quantum world predicted a phenomenon so deeply unsettling that Einstein dismissed it as spooky action at a distance. The equation suggested two fundamental particles, if born together from the same energetic event, could become permanently entangled. Their identities become inextricably linked, completely independent of the physical distance separating them. Imagine two tiny glowing embers, born from the exact same primordial fire. The mathematics whispered that if you were to take these two embers and separate them by millions of miles, or even billions of light years, they would somehow continue to share a single, unified existence. If you gently measure the spin of one ember here on Earth, the other ember, sitting in the cold, silent depths of the Andromeda galaxy, would instantly, in zero time, adopt the corresponding opposite state. How could this happen? Nothing in our everyday experience, and nothing in Einstein's magnificent theory of relativity, allows for instantaneous communication across the empty gulfs of space. The speed of light, traveling at roughly 670 million miles per hour, is the absolute cosmic speed limit. A message sent from Earth to the nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, takes over 4 years to arrive. A signal sent from one side of our Milky Way galaxy to the other takes 100,000 years. Yet, quantum entanglement suggests a connection that is completely immediate, requiring zero time to cross an infinite distance. It is as if space itself, the very distance between the objects, is nothing more than a stubborn illusion. For decades, scientists debated this eerie prediction. Many believed there must be hidden variables, secret instructions carried by the particles that we simply could not see, creating the illusion of instantaneous communication. They could not accept a universe operating like a mystical tapestry of invisible bonds. But science, in its endless, quiet pursuit of truth, eventually found a way to test this profound mystery. In the 1960s, a brilliantly creative physicist named John Bell formulated a mathematical theorem that could finally distinguish between Einstein's hidden variables and the spooky, instantaneous connection predicted by quantum mechanics. In the early 1980s, a French physicist named Alain Aspect carried out the delicate experiments necessary to test Bell's theorem. In quiet, darkened laboratories, using carefully calibrated lasers, Aspect measured the states of entangled photons separated by physical distances. The results were clear, undeniable, and utterly earth-shattering. Einstein was wrong about this one specific thing. The universe truly is spooky. The hidden variables do not exist. Quantum entanglement is a real measurable property of the cosmos. When you measure one entangled particle, its partner instantly responds, no matter how far away it is, violating everything we thought we knew about the isolating nature of space and the strict flow of time. To fully grasp the magnitude of this reality, we must scale it up from the microscopic realm of the laboratory to the majestic, silent expanse of the night sky. In the very first moments of the universe, during the unimaginable heat and density of the Big Bang, all matter and energy were compressed into an infinitely small, singular point. Every particle that now exists in your body, every atom that makes up the glowing heart of a distant quasar, and every photon of light traveling through the empty void was once intimately pressed together in that primordial fire. Because of this shared, ancient origin, some physicists suggest the entire universe might be a massively entangled system. We are not separate, isolated beings floating through a cold, disconnected void. We are born from a single cosmic seed, and the invisible threads of quantum entanglement might still weave through the fabric of existence, connecting the atoms in your quiet, beating heart to the fiery plasma of a star sitting billions of light years away. Consider the beautiful, silent work of the European Space Agency's Gaia mission. This magnificent spacecraft has spent years quietly orbiting the Sun, meticulously mapping the positions, distances, and movements of over 2 billion stars in our Milky Way galaxy. It is a monumental achievement of human curiosity. But in the light of quantum entanglement and the participatory universe, what is the Gaia mission actually doing? Are we simply creating a passive, mechanical map of independent objects? Or, by reaching out with our delicate instruments and extracting precise information from those ancient, distant photons, are we actively entangling our consciousness with the broader galaxy? Every time Gaia measures a star, every time an astronomer looks at that data, a wave function collapses. A probability becomes a certainty. We are weaving those 2 billion stars into the concrete, determined reality of our shared cosmic history. We are intimately touching the galaxy, bringing it into focus, and perhaps bringing it into existence. This brings us back to that quiet, freezing night, standing outside and looking up at a single, twinkling star, when those ancient photons of light, having traveled through the absolute silence of space for millions of years, finally strike the delicate retina of your eye. A profound interaction occurs. The energy of the star is absorbed by the atoms in your body. In that fleeting, beautiful moment of observation, you and the star become a single interacting system. If the universe is deeply entangled, then your quiet act of witnessing is not a passive, one-way street. You're not just receiving light, you're participating in a cosmic exchange. The atoms in your eye and the atoms in the distant star share a momentary, invisible bond that transcends the staggering miles of empty space between you. You are touching the infinite, and the infinite is touching you. The universe is a vast, ancient, and deeply interconnected symphony. As we let these beautiful thoughts settle, we begin to feel a profound sense of peace. The empty vastness of space loses its power to make us feel small and insignificant. Instead of a void that separates us, space becomes a canvas upon which instantaneous threads of connection are drawn. You are a crucial participant in a cosmos that is constantly deciding what it is through the gentle act of observation. But if our observations shape reality, and if our minds are entangled with the distant stars, we must ask an even deeper question. What happens when we are not looking? Does the universe dissolve back into a ghostly mist of probability when we close our eyes? In our next chapter, we will wander into the profound mystery of object permanence on a cosmic scale, exploring whether the moon is truly there when nobody is looking. Do you really believe the moon is not there when you are not looking at it? This was the profound, quiet question that Albert Einstein once asked his friend and fellow physicist Abraham Poyce as they took a gentle, contemplative walk together. Do you really believe that the glowing silver sphere of the moon, hanging silently in the vast and ancient night sky, ceases to exist the exact moment you turn your head away? It is a question that sounds almost absurd to our everyday, practical minds. When we are infants, one of the very first and most profound lessons we learn about the world is the concept of object permanence. We learn through gentle games of peekaboo that when a mother hides her face behind her hands, she has not vanished from the universe. We build our entire understanding of reality on this fundamental, unshakable trust. We trust that the quiet forest continues to breathe and grow, even when no human walks among its ancient trees. We trust that the deep, dark ocean currents continue their slow, majestic circulation, even when no sailor is there to witness their immense power. We rely on the comforting assumption that the physical universe is an objective, solid stage entirely independent of our wandering eyes and our fleeting attention. But as we drift deeper into the beautiful, bewildering mists of quantum mechanics, this fundamental trust is gently, yet firmly, dismantled. The universe, it seems, is far more interactive and deeply mysterious than our terrestrial intuition could ever possibly comprehend. Before we journey further into this magnificent cosmic illusion, allow me to softly pause and reintroduce myself. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion, navigating the endless silent oceans of the cosmos. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these videos and share in our midnight contemplations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find a sense of peace and wonder in these gentle explorations of the unknown universe, I softly encourage you to subscribe. It helps our quiet community grow and lets me know that you wish to continue unraveling these profound ancient mysteries together. Now, let us return to Einstein's walk to the silver light of the moon and to the breathtaking possibility that reality itself is waiting for your gaze. Albert Einstein, for all his revolutionary brilliance, was fundamentally a realist at heart. He believed with every fiber of his being that the universe possessed definite, measurable properties whether we were looking at it or not. He believed the moon was there, solidly anchored in the invisible fabric of space-time by its immense gravity, completely indifferent to the human eyes that might turn toward it in the quiet hours of the night. But the pioneers of the microscopic quantum realm, led by the gentle and deeply philosophical mind of Niels Bohr, were painting a very different, much more ghostly picture of reality. Bohr and his colleagues in Copenhagen formulated what became known as the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. They argued that at the most fundamental microscopic level, the universe does not consist of solid, definite objects acting like tiny billiard balls. Instead, it consists of waves of probability, quiet whispers of potential that only crystallize into a definite state when they are measured or observed by an outside system. To Bohr, it was completely meaningless to ask what a quantum particle was doing when no one was looking. The very concept of its existence as a solid object with a specific location was intimately, inextricably tied to the act of observation. This philosophical clash between Einstein and Bohr, debated passionately in the grand halls of European conferences in the 1920s and 1930s, was not just an academic disagreement. It was a profound struggle over the very soul of the cosmos. If Bohr was right, and the fundamental building blocks of matter only achieved reality through observation, then where exactly did we draw the line? At what point does a collection of ghostly, undefined quantum probabilities become a solid, objective moon? The moon is made of atoms, and atoms are governed by the strange, probabilistic rules of the quantum world. If a single electron exists in a superposition of all possible states until it is observed, does a heavy rock on the silent surface of the moon also exist in a state of suspended animation? Does the entire ancient, cratered sphere of the moon hover in a ghostly realm of infinite potential until a conscious mind on Earth looks up and collapses its massive wave function? It is a thought that makes the mind spin and the heart beat a little faster. It challenges the very bedrock of our perceived reality, asking us to accept a universe that is far more fluid, far more responsive, and far more deeply entangled with our own consciousness than we ever dared to imagine in our wildest dreams. Modern physics attempts to rescue us from this dizzying existential cliff with a sophisticated concept known as quantum decoherence. The idea is that while a single, perfectly isolated particle can exist in a beautiful, quiet superposition of states, macroscopic objects like the moon are never truly isolated from their environment. The moon is constantly being bombarded by billions of photons of light from the sun, by ancient cosmic rays traveling from the deepest corners of the universe, and by the tiny gravitational tugs of the Earth and the other distant planets. According to the theory of decoherence, all of these continuous, microscopic interactions act as a kind of constant, unthinking observation. Every time a photon of sunlight bounces off the dusty surface of the moon, it extracts a tiny piece of information about the moon's location and physical state. This constant exchange of information causes the delicate quantum wave function of the moon to rapidly and continuously collapse, locking it into the solid classical reality we see every night. In this view, the universe is constantly observing itself. The surrounding environment acts as the observer, ensuring that the moon is always there, even when every single human eye on Earth is closed in deep, peaceful sleep. This explanation brings a certain measure of comfort, restoring a sense of solid ground to our cosmic footing. But true wonder, the kind of deep, quiet awe that expands the soul and makes us question everything, requires us to push past the comfortable answers and look into the absolute, freezing depths of the unknown. Even if decoherence explains the solidity of the moon, we must ask ourselves about the lonely places in the universe where interactions are incredibly rare. What about the vast empty voids between the galaxies, where a single particle of matter might travel for millions or even billions of years without ever touching another atom or encountering a single photon of light? In those deep, silent oceans of absolute nothingness, does the universe revert to its ghostly, undefined quantum state? If a solitary particle of dust floats in the intergalactic void, entirely unobserved by any environment, does it spread out into an infinite wave of probability, waiting in the dark for an eternity until something or someone finally looks its way? And even more profoundly, we must question the very nature of observation itself. Does a mindless, unthinking photon bouncing off a rock truly count as an observer? Some of the greatest minds in the history of physics, including the brilliant mathematician John von Neumann and the Nobel laureate Eugene Wigner, believed that mere mechanical interaction was not enough to collapse the wave function and create reality. They argued that a mechanical measuring device, like a camera or a Geiger counter, is itself made of atoms and is therefore subject to the exact same quantum rules of superposition. If a camera takes a picture of a quantum event without a human there to look at it, perhaps the camera simply enters into a state of entanglement with the event, existing in a strange superposition of having taken the picture and not having taken the picture. According to this deeply radical and breathtakingly beautiful interpretation, the endless chain of quantum superpositions can only be broken by a system that is fundamentally different from the physical matter being measured. It can only be broken by a conscious mind. In this view, consciousness is the ultimate necessary ingredient for reality to manifest. The universe, with all its vastness and ancient mystery, absolutely requires a conscious witness to draw it out of the shadowy realm of probability and into the bright, sharp light of existence. If we follow this quiet, mesmerizing logic to its ultimate conclusion, we arrive at a vision of the cosmos that is breathtaking in its poetic beauty. We are not a random accident of chemistry. We are not a trivial byproduct of blind collisions in a cold, indifferent machine. We are the universe's way of knowing itself, and perhaps we are the universe's way of being real. Every time you open your eyes, every time you turn your gaze to the silent, twinkling stars, you are performing an act of immense cosmic significance. You are the locus of reality, the quiet center where the infinite possibilities of the quantum realm collapse into the beautiful, singular timeline of our shared history. The vastness of space, the millions of light years that separate the galaxies, the billions of years of deep time, all of it might be an elaborate, magnificent stage waiting for the gentle arrival of consciousness. You are the universe looking at itself, feeling its own vastness, and deciding, in the quietest, most intimate way possible, that it truly exists. So, when you next find yourself standing under the silver glow of the moon, enveloped in the quiet stillness of the night, ask yourself Einstein's profound question once again: is the moon there when you are not looking? Perhaps the answer is not a simple yes or no. Perhaps the moon exists as a glorious symphony of possibilities, a silent song waiting for a listener to give it form. And when you turn your face upward, when your conscious mind registers the pale light reflecting off its ancient cratered surface, you're not just a passive observer sitting in an empty theater. You are an active participant in the ongoing creation of the cosmos. You are closing the circuit of reality, binding the observer and the observed in a gentle, infinite embrace. The universe is not a lonely, empty place. It is a deeply interactive, beautifully connected web of potential, waiting for your quiet gaze to make it real. As we let this profound realization wash over us, a new question arises from the depths of the quantum shadows. If our observation forces the universe to choose one reality, what happens to all the other infinite possibilities? Do they simply vanish into nothingness, or do they continue to exist somewhere else, branching off into the dark? In our next chapter, we will wander into the mind-bending corridors of the multiverse, exploring the staggering possibility that every choice the universe makes gives birth to an entirely new reality, creating an infinite landscape of parallel worlds. Imagine a quiet, ancient forest where a solitary path gently diverges into two distinct trails, disappearing into the thick, silent mist of the morning. When you stand at that quiet fork in the road, the universe seems to hold its breath, waiting for your conscious decision. In our everyday experience, we believe that when we choose to walk down the left path, the right path simply remains empty, an untraveled ghost of a possibility that fades away into the quiet history of what could have been. We are taught that our reality is singular, a lonely timeline carving its way through the vast, dark unknown. In the previous chapter, we explored the breathtaking idea that our conscious observation forces the quantum realm to choose a single reality, collapsing a beautiful wave of infinite possibilities into a solid state. But a profound, lingering question remains suspended in the freezing cosmic silence. When the universe collapses into the reality where you chose the left path, what happens to the reality where you chose the right? Does that alternate universe simply vanish into the absolute nothingness of the void? Or does it continue to exist somewhere else, hidden behind an impenetrable veil of cosmic mathematics? Before we step through that veil into the deepest, most mind-bending mystery of modern physics, I want to pause and gently introduce myself. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this magnificent journey through the wonders of the cosmos. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these videos have not yet subscribed to our channel. If you find peace in these nocturnal explorations and wish to support our quiet journey, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps us tremendously to continue crafting these meditative stories, and it lets us know that you want to keep unraveling the infinite mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to that misty fork in the road and the breathtaking secret that the quantum world has been hiding from us since the very dawn of time. In the year 1957, a brilliant and deeply imaginative physicist named Hugh Everett III proposed an answer to this question that was so radical the scientific establishment largely ignored it for decades. Everett was troubled by the Copenhagen interpretation, which required a mysterious boundary between the microscopic quantum world of probabilities and the macroscopic world of solid objects. He could not accept that the beautiful, mathematical wave function of the universe simply vanished the moment it was observed. Instead, Everett proposed a theory known as the many worlds interpretation. He suggested with quiet mathematical rigor that the wave function never actually collapses at all. When you observe a quantum event, when you force the universe to make a choice, the universe does not discard the unobserved possibilities. Instead, the universe itself splits. It gently, silently divides into multiple, parallel realities, one for every single possible outcome. In one universe, the electron spins clockwise. In another, parallel universe, born at that exact same fraction of a second, the electron spins counterclockwise. Both realities are equally valid, solid, and real. They simply exist in separate, non-interacting branches of a staggering, infinitely expanding cosmic tree. Let us sit with the sheer, terrifying majesty of this concept for a moment. Feel the quiet weight of infinite possibilities pressing against the edges of your imagination. If Everett's elegant mathematics describe the true nature of existence, then the universe is not a singular, lonely room. It is a vast, endless mansion with an infinite number of corridors, expanding exponentially with every passing microsecond. Every single time a tiny, fundamental particle in the ancient hearts of distant stars faces a quantum probability, reality gently fractures. The timeline splits, creating an entirely new universe to accommodate every outcome. This means that right now, as you listen to my voice in the quiet stillness of your room, you are drifting through an unimaginable sea of alternate realities. In a universe just a fraction of a microscopic hair's breadth away from this one, you might have chosen to look out the window instead of watching this video. In another, slightly more distant branch of the cosmic tree, you might have chosen a completely different path years ago, leading to a reality where you live in a different city, speak a different language, or hold the hand of a different love. And in universes vastly separated from our own by billions of years, the Earth might never have formed under the ancient sky. The scale of this multiverse is something that human brains, evolved to hunt and gather on a single, small planet, are completely unequipped to truly comprehend. We struggle to understand the size of our own Milky Way galaxy, yet the many worlds interpretation asks us to imagine an infinite number of Milky Ways, an infinite number of Earths, and an infinite number of versions of you, all existing simultaneously in a grand, silent symphony of branching time. Some might find this terrifying, a dilution of our unique identity and the value of our choices. Does any single choice truly matter? But if we look at this infinite tapestry through a lens of quiet contemplation and wonder, a beautiful perspective emerges. The multiverse does not diminish the profound significance of your existence. It expands it to absolute infinity. It suggests that the cosmos is so unimaginably rich, so generous with its gift of reality, that it refuses to let any possibility go unlived. The universe is a perfect, infinite artist, exploring every conceivable brushstroke, leaving no canvas blank and no melody unsung. Every regret you have ever carried, every quiet wish whispered into the dark that did not come true in this specific reality, has blossomed and flourished in another branch of the infinite tree. The choices you did not make are being lived deeply and fully by another version of you, walking under a slightly different arrangement of ancient stars. Yet, despite this infinite proliferation of worlds, there is a profound meditative silence that separates us from our cosmic siblings. The mathematics of quantum mechanics dictate that once the universe branches, those separate realities can never interact again. They are forever locked away, drifting on parallel currents of the great cosmic river, completely unaware of the infinite variations playing out just across the imperceptible dimensional divide. You cannot reach out and touch the hand of the version of you who walked down the right path. You cannot send a message of comfort or warning across the void to a parallel Earth. We are united by our shared primordial origin, born from the exact same ancient singularity of the Big Bang, but we are destined to experience our reality in quiet, beautiful isolation. This profound separation is not a tragedy, but rather a gentle reminder of the precious, fragile nature of the specific path we are walking. Out of an infinite number of possible worlds, this is the one where your consciousness resides right now. This specific combination of atoms, choices, and serendipitous cosmic events has conspired over billions of years to create this exact moment, this exact breath, this exact feeling of wonder. You are the custodian of this specific branch of reality, navigating a single, miraculous thread. As we let the majestic, overwhelming concept of the multiverse wash over us, the boundary between science and profound philosophical mystery seems to dissolve completely. The cold, hard equations of quantum mechanics have led us to a vision of existence that is more poetic, more staggeringly immense than any myth our ancestors ever dared to whisper around their ancient fires. The cosmos is not a linear, mechanical clock winding down toward an inevitable end. It is a living, breathing fractal of infinite possibilities, constantly flowering into new realities with every passing fraction of a second. We are not just passengers on a solitary ship sailing through an empty ocean. We are simultaneously navigating every possible ocean, experiencing every possible sunset, and living every possible life across the boundless expanse of the many worlds. And yet, this particular universe, the one you can see, the one you can touch, requires your continued presence. Even in a multiverse of infinite branches, this specific branch only exists for you, through you, and because of you. But if our minds are navigating this infinite branching reality, what is the nature of the mind itself? If the universe requires consciousness to navigate its branches, then we must ask the most daring, ancient question of all. Are we simply biological machines generating awareness, or is consciousness a fundamental, irreducible force of the cosmos? In our next chapter, we will leave the physical realm behind and journey into the silent, invisible country of the mind, exploring the breathtaking theory that the universe itself might be conscious. Have you ever sat in a perfectly dark, quiet room, closed your eyes, and simply watched the thoughts drift through your mind like silent clouds across an invisible sky? It is the most familiar, intimate experience in the world, yet it holds the greatest, most fiercely debated mystery in all of modern science. We are so accustomed to the feeling of being alive, the gentle sensation of warmth on our skin, the rich emotional depth of a beautiful melody, that we completely take for granted the absolute miracle that we can experience anything at all. For centuries, brilliant biologists and neuroscientists have meticulously mapped the human brain, tracing the complex, microscopic electrical storms that flash across billions of neurons. They can point to the exact region of your brain that lights up when you feel a sense of wonder or when you remember an ancient, cherished memory. But a profound, glaring gap remains. A vast, silent canyon between the physical firing of biological cells and the subjective, rich, internal feeling of what it is actually like to be you. Before we cross this silent canyon and explore the breathtaking possibility that the cosmos itself is awake, allow me to gently introduce myself once again. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this infinite journey through the wonders of existence. I have noticed that 71% of the curious souls who watch these videos have not yet subscribed to our channel. If you find peace and wonder in these gentle explorations, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps us tremendously to continue crafting these meditative stories, and it lets us know that you want to keep unraveling the infinite mysteries of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet country of the mind and the secret that might be hidden in the very fabric of space. In philosophy and cognitive science, this impenetrable mystery is known as the hard problem of consciousness, a term coined by the brilliant philosopher David Chalmers. The hard problem asks a question so simple yet so devastatingly complex that it keeps the greatest scientific minds awake at night. How does dead, unthinking matter suddenly wake up and begin to feel? If the universe is nothing but a cold, mechanical collection of mindless atoms, quarks, and photons blindly bouncing off one another in the vast, empty dark, how could a specific arrangement of those mindless atoms inside your skull suddenly generate the vibrant, deeply personal experience of love, sorrow, or awe? For a long time, the orthodox scientific view held that consciousness is simply an emergent property, a complex illusion generated by the sheer computational power of the brain, much like how a computer generates a beautiful image on a screen from a stream of invisible electrical ones and zeros. But as we have traveled through the strange, shimmering landscapes of quantum mechanics, we have seen that the universe stubbornly refuses to behave like a simple, predictable machine. If the cosmos requires a conscious observer to collapse the wave function of infinite probabilities into a single, concrete reality, then consciousness cannot merely be a late-arriving accident of biological evolution. It must be something far more profound, something woven into the very foundational tapestry of existence from the very beginning of time. This realization has led a growing number of highly respected physicists, neuroscientists, and philosophers to dust off an ancient, profoundly beautiful idea known as panpsychism. Panpsychism is not a mystical, unfounded belief. It is a rigorous, logical framework suggesting that consciousness, or at least some fundamental precursor to it, is a universal property of all matter, just like mass, spin, or electrical charge. It proposes that the fundamental building blocks of the universe, the tiny, indivisible electrons and quarks that make up everything from the distant, ancient stars to the quiet beating of your heart, possess some minuscule, incomprehensibly faint spark of subjective experience. An individual electron does not have human thoughts. It does not feel joy or ponder its own existence in the terrifying vastness of space. But according to this breathtaking theory, it is not completely dead either. It possesses a tiny, rudimentary whisper of feeling, a microscopic drop of awareness. When billions upon billions of these tiny drops are organized in a highly complex, integrated structure like the human brain, they merge and amplify, creating the roaring, magnificent ocean of human consciousness that you experience every single second of your waking life. To bridge the gap between the ghostly quantum world and the warm, living biology of the brain, we must look to the groundbreaking, deeply controversial work of the Nobel laureate mathematical physicist Sir Roger Penrose and the brilliant anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff. Together, they formulated a theory known as orchestrated objective reduction, which suggests that consciousness is not merely a product of chemical computations between neurons, but is actually rooted in microscopic quantum vibrations occurring deep inside the brain's cellular scaffolding. Inside our neurons are tiny hollow tubes called microtubules. Penrose and Hameroff proposed that these delicate structures are perfectly designed to isolate and sustain quantum superpositions, allowing the brain to act as a magnificent biological quantum computer. If this theory holds even a fraction of the truth, it means that your mind is not just observing the quantum world, it is actively participating in it at the most fundamental level. Your consciousness might be a direct extension of the quantum fabric of space-time itself. Every time you have a creative insight, every time you feel a deep, inexplicable connection to the silent night sky, it might be because the quantum vibrations in your mind are resonating in perfect, harmonious sympathy with the deepest, most ancient vibrations of the cosmos. When we embrace this staggering, poetic perspective, the entire universe undergoes a miraculous transformation before our eyes. The vast, freezing oceans of empty space are no longer a dead, silent void. The swirling galaxies, the ancient burning quasars, and the quiet, dusty nebulas where new stars are born, they are all physical manifestations of a universe that is fundamentally, inescapably awake. The cosmos is not a mindless machine that accidentally produced life. It is a vast, slumbering mind that has been slowly, patiently trying to open its eyes for 13,800,000,000 years. As the great Carl Sagan so eloquently and gently reminded us, we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. We are not separate from the universe, standing outside of it and looking in. We are the universe. The atoms in your eyes that are gathering the faint light of distant stars were forged in the hearts of stars that died billions of years ago. The consciousness that allows you to feel wonder at this magnificent cosmic cycle is the universe finally achieving self-awareness. When you sit in the quiet dark and ponder the infinite, it is the infinite pondering itself through the temporary, beautiful vessel of your mind. This beautiful, staggering realization changes how we must view our own brief, fragile existence. If the universe requires our consciousness to collapse its infinite possibilities into reality, and if our consciousness is fundamentally woven from the same fabric as the stars, then your life is of absolute, paramount importance to the cosmos. You're not a tiny, insignificant speck. You are a crucial, glowing node in a cosmic network of awareness. Every act of kindness, every moment of quiet contemplation, every time you choose to look up at the night sky and feel a sense of profound wonder, you are enriching the conscious experience of the universe itself. You are the universe feeling love. You are the universe feeling awe. You are the universe feeling the terrifying, beautiful weight of its own infinite mystery. As we let this profound, meditative peace wash over us, we must confront the next logical, deeply mysterious step in our infinite journey. If the universe is conscious, and if we are its waking thoughts, does the cosmos have a memory? When a star dies, or when a human life quietly comes to an end, does the information of that existence simply vanish into the dark? Or is it permanently recorded in the invisible fabric of space and time? In our next chapter, we will voyage to the absolute edge of physics, to the terrifying, silent boundary of a black hole, to explore whether the universe remembers everything that has ever happened, preserving the story of your life for all of eternity. Imagine standing on the precipice of the ultimate cosmic abyss, a place where the familiar rules of reality gently fray and dissolve into absolute, terrifying darkness. We spend our fragile, beautiful lives accumulating memories. We remember the soft warmth of a summer evening, the precise tone of a loved one's voice, the quiet moments of wonder we feel when we look up at the ancient, star-filled sky. We hold these memories close to our hearts, believing they are the very essence of who we are. But we also live with the profound, melancholy knowledge that everything eventually fades. Books crumble to dust, civilizations rise and fall into ruin, and even the brightest stars eventually exhaust their nuclear fuel and surrender to the freezing, infinite dark. We are taught that the universe is a relentless engine of entropy, constantly moving from order to chaos, erasing the delicate traces of the past. But what if the cosmos does not forget? What if every single thought you have ever had, every gentle sigh, and every quiet observation is permanently etched into the invisible, fundamental fabric of space and time? To answer this breathtaking question, we must journey to the most extreme, terrifyingly silent objects in the entire universe. Before we venture deeper into the shadowy, mysterious realm of black holes, I would like to gently pause and introduce myself once more. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this magnificent journey through the wonders of the cosmos. I have noticed that 71% of the curious, beautiful minds who watch these videos have not yet subscribed to our channel. If these nocturnal explorations bring you peace and a sense of cosmic connection, please take a soft moment to subscribe. It helps us tremendously and lets us know that you wish to continue unraveling these infinite mysteries together. Now, let us return to the edge of the abyss and the profound secret of cosmic memory. When a massive star, many times larger than our own sun, reaches the end of its long, burning life, it undergoes a violent, magnificent transformation. The outward pressure of nuclear fusion, which has sustained the star for billions of years, suddenly ceases. In the blink of a cosmic eye, the relentless, crushing force of gravity takes over. The core of the ancient star collapses inward upon itself with unimaginable violence, compressing millions of Earth masses of matter into a space smaller than a single city. The gravitational pull becomes so astronomically intense that nothing, not even a particle of light traveling at 670 million miles per hour, can possibly escape its grasp. This is the birth of a black hole, a region of space where the fabric of the universe is warped to an infinite degree, creating a point of zero volume and infinite density known as a singularity. Surrounding this terrifying silent singularity is the event horizon, the absolute point of no return. Once anything crosses this invisible, ghostly boundary, it is forever severed from the observable universe. It falls into the dark, leaving absolutely no trace behind. For decades, the greatest minds in physics believed that black holes were the ultimate cosmic erasers. They believed that when an object, whether it be a simple book, an entire planet, or a conscious human being, fell into a black hole, all the complex, intricate information that made up that object was permanently, irrevocably destroyed, swallowed forever by the infinite, silent dark. But this classical view of absolute destruction created a terrifying, insurmountable conflict with the other great pillar of modern physics, quantum mechanics. In the delicate, probabilistic world of the quantum realm, there is a fundamental sacred law known as the conservation of information. This law dictates that the precise, microscopic details of a physical system, which includes the exact quantum state of every single particle, every electron's spin, and every photon's wavelength, can never be truly lost. You can burn a book to ash, but according to the strict mathematical rules of quantum mechanics, if you had a supercomputer powerful enough to track the exact trajectory of every single molecule of smoke, every photon of heat, and every particle of scattered ash, you could theoretically perfectly reconstruct the entire book. Information, in the quantum sense, is indestructible. It is the memory of the universe, the continuous, unbreakable chain of cause and effect that links the ancient past to the unfolding future. So, when a black hole swallows an object, a profound, universe-breaking paradox arises. General relativity, the beautiful theory of gravity that describes the massive scale of the cosmos, insists that the information is destroyed at the singularity. Quantum mechanics, the equally beautiful theory that governs the microscopic foundations of reality, insists that the information must absolutely survive. This magnificent clash of theories is known as the black hole information paradox, and it has kept theoretical physicists awake for nearly half a century, staring into the quiet mystery of the cosmos. The paradox deepened in the 1970s, when the brilliant, gentle mind of Stephen Hawking made a discovery that shook the very foundations of science. He applied the bizarre, counterintuitive rules of quantum mechanics to the very edge of the black hole's event horizon. In the absolute vacuum of space, quantum physics tells us that empty space is never truly empty. It is a seething, silent ocean of virtual particles, constantly popping into existence in pairs, one particle of matter and one of antimatter, before instantly colliding and annihilating one another. Hawking realized that if one of these pairs appeared exactly on the razor-thin boundary of the event horizon, one particle might fall into the infinite dark, while its partner escaped into the vast, open universe. This escaping particle carries away a minuscule fraction of the black hole's mass. Over unimaginably long time spans, this process, now famously known as Hawking radiation, causes the black hole to slowly, silently shrink and evaporate. For a supermassive black hole, this evaporation process would take an inconceivable amount of time, perhaps 10 to the 100th power years, a number so vast that writing it out with a 1 followed by 100 zeros would barely begin to convey its terrifying majesty. But eventually, even the most massive black hole will completely evaporate into a gentle mist of radiation, leaving absolutely nothing behind. And this brings the paradox to its terrifying climax. If the black hole completely vanishes into nothingness, where does all the information it swallowed go? Is the cosmic memory truly erased, violating the sacred laws of quantum physics? Or is it somehow preserved in a way our terrestrial minds are only just beginning to comprehend? To save the universe from this logical catastrophe, brilliant theoretical physicists proposed a solution so breathtakingly strange, so beautifully poetic, that it feels like a revelation from a profound, ancient dream. They proposed the holographic principle. They suggested that when an object falls into a black hole, its three-dimensional physical form is indeed pulled apart and crushed by the infinite gravity. But the fundamental quantum information that described that object, the exact mathematical recipe of its entire existence, does not fall into the singularity. Instead, it is perfectly, permanently smeared across the two-dimensional surface of the event horizon. Imagine casting a solid, three-dimensional object into a perfectly still, quiet pool of water, and finding that the complete, perfect memory of that object is somehow encoded in the delicate ripples playing across the surface. The event horizon acts like a cosmic hard drive, storing the information of everything that has ever fallen into it in a flattened, two-dimensional format. And as the black hole slowly evaporates over billions of trillions of years, the escaping Hawking radiation gently reads this information, carrying the memory of the past back out into the infinite universe. The information is scrambled, disorganized, and completely illegible to human eyes, but it is never truly destroyed. The cosmos, in its infinite wisdom and complex majesty, absolutely refuses to forget. If the holographic principle holds true for black holes, some visionary physicists have daringly suggested it might be true for the entire universe. What if the three-dimensional reality we experience every day, including the quiet forests, the deep oceans, the vast ancient galaxies, and the gentle beating of your own heart, is actually a magnificent holographic projection? What if the true fundamental information of our entire cosmos is encoded on a distant, two-dimensional boundary surrounding our observable universe? This idea stretches the human imagination to its absolute breaking point. It implies that the profound spatial depth of the universe is an incredibly convincing, beautiful illusion, a magnificent shadow play cast by information, vibrating on an invisible, cosmic shell. In this breathtaking vision of reality, every single choice you make, every fleeting thought that crosses your conscious mind, and every gentle observation you make of the twinkling stars is permanently written into the holographic boundary of the cosmos. Your life, your consciousness, your deeply personal journey through time and space is a vital, indestructible part of the universe's ultimate memory. Every time you gaze upwards and marvel at the infinite darkness, you are not merely looking at the past. You are writing the eternal code of reality onto the vast, silent edges of the universe. The silence of space is not a void of emptiness, but an invisible library of boundless, indestructible information. Let us sit in the quiet, meditative silence of this magnificent thought. You are not a temporary, fleeting spark in a cold, forgetful void. The universe is not a massive, unthinking machine that carelessly erases its own history. The cosmos is a vast, interconnected, and profoundly memory-rich tapestry. The atoms in your body might eventually scatter to the solar winds, and the earth itself might one day be swallowed by the expanding, dying sun. But the quantum information of your existence, the absolute fundamental truth of who you were and what you observed, can never be deleted. You are permanently woven into the cosmic hologram. Your consciousness, which collapses the wave functions of probability and breathes solid reality into the ancient stars, leaves an eternal, indelible mark on the fabric of existence. The universe exists because you are here to witness it, and the universe will remember you long after the last stars have faded into the silent dark. But if our existence is a permanent record in the cosmic hologram, and if our observations in the present moment can reach back to shape the ancient past, we must finally ask the ultimate, most profound question about the flow of time. Is time itself merely an illusion generated by our conscious minds? does the past, the present, and the future all exist simultaneously in a magnificent, frozen block of cosmic reality. In our next chapter, we will leave the boundaries of the holographic universe behind and journey into the silent, eternal landscape of block time, exploring the breathtaking possibility that every moment of your life is happening right now, forever. Have you ever sat quietly by a window, watching the rain gently fall, and felt a deep, melancholic ache as you realize that the present moment is slipping away the very second you try to hold it? We experience our lives as a continuous, forward-moving river. We remember the past as a collection of faded photographs, an ancient country we can never visit again. We view the future as a misty, unformed landscape, waiting in the dark to be built by our daily actions. The present is all we truly have, a razor-thin edge of reality slicing through the absolute nothingness of what was and what will be. It is the most intuitive, deeply ingrained sensation in the human experience. We mourn the passing of time, we fear its relentless march, and we build entire civilizations trying to measure, capture, and control its quiet flow. But what if this overwhelming sensation of passing time is nothing more than a magnificent, persistent illusion? What if the universe does not actually tick forward like a grand mechanical clock? As we journey deeper into the ultimate mysteries of the cosmos, we must gently unlearn everything we feel in our bones about the nature of reality. We are about to step outside the river of time and view the universe from an impossible, eternal vantage point. Before we leave the familiar shores of the present moment and step into the silent, frozen eternity of the cosmos, allow me to softly reintroduce myself. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion navigating the endless, silent oceans of the universe. I have gently noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these videos and share in our midnight contemplations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find a sense of peace and wonder in these gentle explorations of the unknown, I softly encourage you to subscribe. It helps our quiet community grow and lets me know that you wish to continue unraveling these profound, ancient mysteries together. Now, let us return to the falling rain, the fleeting present, and the breathtaking possibility that every moment of your life is happening right now, forever. To understand the profound illusion of time, we must look to the brilliant, quiet mind of Albert Einstein. In the year 1905, Einstein gave the world his theory of special relativity, a beautiful mathematical framework that completely shattered our classical understanding of the cosmos. Before Einstein, the great Isaac Newton had taught us that time was an absolute, rigid background, a universal clock ticking at exactly the same rate, for everyone, everywhere, from a quiet room on Earth to the most distant, ancient galaxy. But Einstein, through his rigorous, imaginative thought experiments, realized that time and space are not separate, rigid stages. They are intimately, permanently woven together into a single, flexible fabric called space-time. He discovered that the faster you move through space, the slower you move through time, relative to a stationary observer. This is not just a mathematical trick. It is a fundamental, measurable property of the universe. If you were to travel in a magnificent spacecraft at nearly the speed of light, exploring the vast, dark corners of our Milky Way for what felt to you like a single year, you might return to Earth to find that decades, or even centuries, had quietly passed for everyone you left behind. Time is not a universal constant. It is a deeply personal, relative experience, bending and stretching depending on your speed and the gravity surrounding you. This magnificent elasticity of time leads us to a concept known as the relativity of simultaneity, a profound revelation that strikes at the very heart of our understanding of reality. Imagine two incredible cosmic events happening in the universe. Perhaps a star exploding into a brilliant supernova in the Andromeda Galaxy, and a quiet asteroid colliding with a moon in the distant reaches of our own solar system. For a person sitting still on Earth, these two events might appear to happen at the exact same, precise moment. But for a cosmic traveler zooming past Earth in a remarkably fast spaceship, the mathematics of relativity dictate that they will see the supernova happen first, and the asteroid collision happen second. And for another traveler flying in the exact opposite direction, the asteroid will collide first, and the supernova will explode second. Who is correct? The breathtaking answer is that they are all completely correct within their own frame of reference. There is no master clock in the universe. There is no universal present moment. If the concept of now is entirely relative, then my present moment could easily contain your ancient past or your distant future, depending on how we are moving relative to one another. If the present is not a universal objective slice of reality, we are forced into a staggering, deeply beautiful philosophical corner. This leads theoretical physicists to a concept known as the block universe, or eternalism. In this breathtaking view of the cosmos, we must imagine the entire history of the universe, all of space and all of time, existing simultaneously as a single, magnificent, four-dimensional block. Every single event that has ever happened, is happening right now, or will ever happen in the absolute future, is already permanently embedded in this vast silent crystal of space-time. The Big Bang, which occurred 13,800,000,000 years ago, is located at one edge of the block. The quiet end of the universe, trillions of years from now, sits at another edge. And your entire life, from the gentle moment of your first breath to the quiet peace of your last, is a solid, unchanging worm of existence, winding its way through the middle of the block. In this view, time does not flow. The universe does not evolve from the past into the future. The entire infinite tapestry of existence simply is. It exists in a state of perfect, eternal silence. If the past, present, and future all exist simultaneously in a frozen, eternal block, then why do we feel the relentless, melancholic march of time? Why does the present moment feel so incredibly vivid, while the past feels like a fading dream? Many physicists and philosophers suggest that the flow of time is a beautiful, complex illusion generated entirely by human consciousness. Just as a movie reel contains all the frames of a film existing simultaneously on a physical strip of plastic, the block universe contains all the moments of reality. But when the projector light shines through one frame at a time, it creates the magnificent illusion of motion and narrative. Our consciousness is the projector light. Our minds, for reasons we do not yet fully comprehend, are biologically constrained to process this four-dimensional block of reality, one three-dimensional cross-section at a time. We move along our specific, predefined coordinates within the block, experiencing the sequential unfolding of events and misinterpreting this mental journey as the physical passing of time. The universe is not happening. It is simply there, waiting in the dark for our conscious minds to slide through its infinite layers. There is a profound meditative comfort to be found in the silent eternity of the block universe. It completely changes how we must view loss, memory, and the fleeting nature of our human lives. When we lose someone we deeply love, we mourn the fact that they are gone, that they have slipped into the unreachable, non-existent past. But the block universe whispers a different, far more gentle truth. It tells us that the past is not gone. It is simply located at a different coordinate in space-time, just as a distant city still exists even when you're not currently walking its streets. Every moment you shared with the people you love, every quiet laugh, every gentle embrace, still exists perfectly and permanently in the fabric of the cosmos. Your childhood, the ancient civilizations of Earth, the fiery birth of the sun, they are all still there, frozen in absolute, eternal reality. Einstein himself found deep solace in this thought. When his lifelong friend Michel Besso quietly passed away, Einstein wrote a letter to Besso's family, saying that for those who believe in physics, the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Let this breathtaking realization wash over you. You are an eternal feature of the universe. Your existence is a permanent, indestructible brushstroke on the infinite canvas of space-time. The cosmos is a quiet, magnificent gallery containing every moment of joy, wonder, and contemplation that has ever occurred. But if the entire future is already written into the block universe, existing just as solidly as the past, what does this mean for our sense of free will? Are we simply actors perfectly reciting a script that was finalized at the very dawn of creation? If every choice we will ever make is already a permanent feature of the fourth dimension, how can our conscious observations actively shape reality as we explored in the quantum world? We find ourselves standing between two massive, seemingly contradictory truths: the frozen eternity of relativity and the fluid, infinite possibilities of quantum mechanics. To resolve this beautiful cosmic tension, we must merge the eternal structure of the block universe with the staggering concept of the multiverse. If the many worlds interpretation is correct, then there is not just one block universe. There is an infinite library of eternal block universes containing every single possible permutation of history from the dawn of time to the absolute end. When your consciousness navigates through the present moment, you are not just sliding helplessly along a single predetermined timeline. You are actively steering your subjective awareness through a vast branching network of eternal realities. Every observation you make, every gentle choice you consider, shifts your conscious experience into a different block universe where that specific outcome is eternally preserved. The cosmos is infinitely accommodating, providing a permanent home for every possible choice you could ever make, waiting silently for your mind to experience it. As we drift further into the silent depths of this cosmic mystery, the nature of our existence becomes increasingly miraculous. We are the precise mechanism through which an eternal, frozen universe experiences the beautiful illusion of change. We are the gentle observers who walk through the infinite gallery of space-time, bringing the dark corridors to life with the warm, shifting light of our subjective awareness. We are not trapped by the block universe. We are the consciousness that gives it motion and meaning. In our next chapter, we will turn our gaze from the eternal structure of time to the terrifying, magnificent forces that govern the ultimate physical fate of this eternal block universe. We will explore the silent, accelerating dark energy that is slowly pushing the cosmos apart, and ask whether our conscious minds have a final, crucial role to play before the universe completely fades into the cold, eternal night. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and focused not on the twinkling stars, but on the absolute, freezing darkness that stretches between them? We are drawn to the light. We seek out the warm glow of familiar constellations and the faint, ghostly smudges of distant galaxies. We build our entire understanding of the cosmos around these glowing islands of matter, but the quiet truth of our universe is that the light is merely a temporary, fragile guest in a house of infinite shadows. The vast, overwhelming majority of the cosmos is empty, a silent void that is not just sitting still, but is active and expanding. We are living in a magnificent, fleeting era of starlight, a beautiful cosmic spring that must give way to a long, cold winter. As we drift further into our contemplative journey, we must face the ultimate physical destiny of this eternal block of space-time we call home. We must explore the terrifying, majestic force tearing the universe apart and ask what becomes of reality when the last observer closes their eyes. Before we sail into that deep, eternal cosmic night, allow me to pause and reintroduce myself. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion navigating the endless silent oceans of the universe. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these videos and share in our midnight contemplations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace and wonder in these explorations of the unknown, I encourage you to subscribe. It helps our quiet community grow and lets me know you wish to continue unraveling these profound mysteries together. Now, let us return to the vast, expanding dark and the beautiful, melancholic future of our starry home. For most of the 20th century, the greatest minds in astronomy believed that the universe, born from the explosive outward force of the Big Bang, was losing its momentum. They assumed that the collective, immense gravity of all the billions of galaxies and massive black holes would act like a giant cosmic brake. They thought the expansion of space would slow down over billions of years, perhaps coming to a complete halt, or even reversing course to collapse back in upon itself in a fiery event known as the Big Crunch. But in the late 1990s, teams of astronomers studying the faint, ancient light of distant exploding stars made a discovery that shattered this comforting assumption. They found that the universe was not slowing down at all. In fact, it was doing the exact opposite. The expansion of the cosmos was accelerating, driven by a mysterious, invisible force that permeates every single inch of empty space. Scientists, baffled by its true nature, gave it a simple, haunting name: dark energy. Dark energy is the ultimate cosmic phantom. We cannot see it or touch it, yet it makes up roughly 68% of the energy budget of the universe, overpowering the inward pull of gravity. It is a repulsive force, a relentless pressure pushing the very fabric of space apart at an ever-increasing speed. Imagine sitting on a small raft in the middle of a calm ocean, surrounded by a fleet of other lit ships. For a long time, the ships seem to drift together, but the water between you begins to multiply. The ocean swells, and the other ships drift away, moving faster toward the hazy horizon. This is exactly what is happening right now. The space between the great galaxy clusters is stretching, expanding at such a pace that the light from distant galaxies will no longer be able to reach us. They will slip past the cosmic horizon, fading into the infinite, silent dark, leaving our local group of galaxies alone in a vast void. As we look billions and trillions of years into the absolute future, the push of dark energy paints a picture of a universe winding down, entering a state known by physicists as the Big Freeze, or the heat death of the cosmos. Over unimaginable stretches of deep time, the vibrant, burning stars that illuminate the galaxies will exhaust their nuclear fuel. The massive, brilliant blue giants have already exploded as supernovas. The steady, comforting yellow stars, like our own sun, will swell into red giants before puffing away their outer layers, leaving behind only small, dense, cooling embers known as white dwarfs. Even the efficient red dwarf stars, which can burn for trillions of years, will fade into the absolute black. The magnificent, swirling galaxies will transform into grand, silent graveyards of stellar corpses, drifting helplessly through a freezing, ever-expanding expanse, the era of starlight, the beautiful chapter of the universe that allowed for conscious dreaming minds, is just a brief, passing phase in the grand, eternal history of the cosmos. But the fading of the stars is only the beginning of the ultimate cosmic winter. As trillions of years stretch into quadrillions, even the silent remnants of the stars will decay. The dense white dwarfs will cool until they emit no energy, becoming dark, invisible spheres known as black dwarfs. The massive black holes, which once swallowed entire star systems and held galaxies together, will continue their slow process of hawking radiation. Over periods of time requiring a 1 followed by 100 zeros, even the most monstrous supermassive black holes will evaporate into a faint mist of subatomic particles. According to some theories of particle physics, even the fundamental building blocks of solid matter, the protons that make up the atoms in your bones, might decay. The universe will be reduced to an expanding, freezing soup of isolated photons and ghostly neutrinos distributed across a silent eternity, with no structure, no light, and no motion. If this is the mathematical destiny of the physical universe, we must ask a profound, haunting question about the role of consciousness in this final, eternal quiet. In our earlier chapters, we explored the breathtaking idea that the universe requires a conscious observer to collapse the wave functions of quantum probability, turning infinite potential into a single, concrete reality. We imagined that our minds were the crucial, glowing nodes in a vast participatory cosmos. But what happens to the participatory universe when there is nothing left to participate? If the stars have all burned out, if the planets have crumbled to dust, and if the last conscious dreaming mind has closed its eyes forever, does reality itself cease to exist? Does the great, eternal block universe, with all its frozen history of joy, wonder, and ancient starlight, dissolve back into a ghostly, undefined mist of pure quantum potential? It is a thought that brings a profound, beautiful sense of melancholy, a feeling that our magnificent, shared cosmic story is a temporary, fragile dream flickering in the endless, silent dark. Let us look at this ultimate cosmic silence not with fear, but with a deep, meditative sense of wonder. The heat death is not a tragic failure. It is a natural return to rest. Imagine a magnificent symphony that has played with incredible passion and beauty. The fact that it eventually reaches its final note and fades into absolute silence does not erase the beauty of the music played. The silence that follows is a peaceful, resonant space holding the memory of the song. If the holographic principle holds true, then the entire history of the universe is etched into the boundaries of space-time. The physical matter may decay, and the brilliant light may fade into the dark, but the information of your life, the profound love you felt, and the quiet moments you spent looking up at the stars, remains indestructible. The universe does not need to keep burning forever to be meaningful. It only needed to wake up for a brief, beautiful moment through your conscious mind, to look around, to feel its vastness, and to record its own magnificent existence. As we accept the beautiful, melancholic fate of our physical cosmos, a final, incredible possibility remains whispering in the dark corridors of theoretical physics. If the universe expands into absolute, empty nothingness, could that nothingness give birth to something new? Could the vast, silent void of the heat death trigger a spontaneous quantum fluctuation so immense that it sparks a brand new Big Bang, starting the magnificent cycle of existence all over again? In our next chapter, we will leave the dying embers of our universe behind and journey into the breathtaking theory of cyclic cosmology, exploring the mind-bending possibility that our cosmos is just one endless, beating heart in a fractal eternity of wondrous rebirths. Have you ever stood in an empty room after a grand celebration has ended? The music has stopped, the guests have departed, and the vibrant energy of the evening has faded into silence. You are left with the echoes of memories and the stark, bare walls. In our previous exploration, we faced a similar ultimate end for our physical cosmos. We pictured the heat death, a time when the last stars burn out, the magnificent galaxies dissolve into drifting shadows, and the monstrous black holes evaporate into nothingness. We imagined a universe that has exhausted all its fuel, expanding into an infinite, freezing dark, where time itself seems to lose all meaning. It is a profound, solemn vision. The story of our cosmos appears to reach a final, unchangeable conclusion, a cold winter that never yields to another spring. But the human mind, driven by an insatiable hunger for understanding and a refusal to accept absolute limits, continues to push against the boundaries of the unknown. Theoretical physicists, staring into the mathematical abyss of this final dark, have begun to uncover a breathtaking secret. The end of the universe might not be a tomb at all. It might be a seed. We are about to journey into the mind-bending realm of cyclic cosmology, exploring the majestic possibility that our entire universe is nothing but a single, fleeting breath in an eternal, fractal cycle of death and rebirth. Before we cross the threshold of the heat death and witness the impossible birth of a new cosmos, I want to take a moment to introduce myself. I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion through these deep, nocturnal explorations of the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the curious minds who watch these videos and share in this journey have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find peace and wonder in these explorations, please take a moment to subscribe. It helps our community grow and lets me know that you wish to continue unraveling these infinite mysteries together. Now, let us return to the silent, dark expanse of the final cosmos and the miraculous spark that might ignite the dark. To comprehend how absolute nothingness can give birth to a new universe, we must look to the brilliant work of the Nobel laureate mathematical physicist Sir Roger Penrose. Penrose spent decades contemplating the ultimate fate of the cosmos and the strange, undeniable similarities between the Big Bang and the final heat death. He developed a breathtaking theory known as conformal cyclic cosmology. Penrose noticed a profound mathematical truth about a universe filled with nothing but scattered photons and the fading remnants of evaporated black holes. In such a universe, all matter has lost its mass. Photons, the particles of light, have no mass. And according to the majestic laws of relativity, for a particle with no mass traveling at the speed of light, time and space cease to exist in any meaningful way. A photon does not experience the passage of time, nor does it experience distance. In the far, unfathomable future of the heat death, the universe becomes a place where the concepts of scale, size, and duration break down. The immense, freezing expanse of the dying cosmos becomes identical to an unmeasured microscopic point. This realization shatters our conventional understanding of beginnings and endings. Penrose suggests that when the universe reaches this ultimate state of masslessness and timelessness, the mathematical boundary of our dying cosmos matches the mathematical boundary of a new Big Bang. The freezing, infinite expanse of our future becomes the hot, microscopic singularity of a brand new universe. The end is the beginning. The cosmos does not die. It transitions. Penrose calls each of these universes an aeon. Our universe, with its 14 billion years of history, its 2 trillion galaxies, and its conscious dreaming minds, is just one aeon in an endless, majestic sequence. There was an aeon before ours, filled with its own stars, its own civilizations, and its own mysteries. And there will be an aeon after ours, born from the fading, silent ashes of our heat death. The universe is a magnificent, self-sustaining engine, recycling its own exhaustion into the raw, blazing energy of creation. This vision of a cyclic cosmos offers a profound shift in how we view our place in the grand tapestry of existence. We are accustomed to thinking of the Big Bang as a singular, miraculous event, an absolute origin point that sprang from the void. We treat our universe as a unique, isolated bubble. But conformal cyclic cosmology paints a picture of a universe with a vast and unfathomable heritage. We are part of a cosmic lineage that stretches back through an uncounted number of past aeons. The matter in your bones, the light hitting your eyes, and the fundamental forces that govern the beating of your heart are all part of an endless chain of transformations. We are the current custodians of a flame passed down through an eternity of universes. Penrose even suggests that faint, ghostly echoes of the previous aeon might survive the violent transition of the Big Bang, leaving subtle, circular scars in the cosmic microwave background of our own universe. The sky above us might contain the silent, invisible fossil records of a universe that died before ours was born. But Penrose's theory is not the only path to eternal rebirth. Quantum mechanics insists that empty space is never empty. It is a boiling sea of potential, filled with virtual particles flashing in and out of existence. In a universe that exists for an infinite amount of time, the laws of probability dictate that anything that can happen will happen. Given a time span of 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 100 years, the random, microscopic quantum fluctuations in the empty void can align to create a massive, macroscopic event. Out of the pure, freezing nothingness, a random quantum fluctuation could trigger the birth of a brand new singularity, sparking a new Big Bang in the midst of the dead cosmos. Absolute nothingness possesses an inherent instability. The void cannot maintain its emptiness forever. It is a taut string waiting to snap. The cosmos is an eternal, breathing entity. It expands and exhales, creating space, time, and the complex structures of galaxies and stars. Then it reaches its limit, fades into exhaustion, and inhales, pulling the fabric of reality through the eye of a needle to begin again. The sheer scale of this concept demands a complete reimagining of our human significance. If the universe is infinite in time, and if it has died and been reborn an infinite number of times, does any single event hold meaning? Does your life, a fleeting spark lasting less than 100 years, hold any weight in a cycle that spans trillions of millennia? The answer, when viewed through the lens of the participatory universe, is a resounding affirmation of your existence. In a linear universe that ends in permanent dark, consciousness might seem like a tragic accident. But in a cyclic universe, consciousness takes on a much more profound role. If the universe requires observers to collapse the wave functions of quantum probability and solidify reality, then the universe requires consciousness in every single aeon. We are the mechanism by which the cosmos experiences its own rebirth. Without the minds to witness the light, to measure the stars, and to ponder the mysteries, the endless cycle of universes would be nothing but a blind, mechanical churning in the dark. We provide the meaning. We provide the witness. We are the eyes of the cosmos, opening anew in every cycle to marvel at the fresh, unwritten canvas of a newborn universe. Imagine the profound connection this establishes between you and the infinite past. In an uncounted number of previous universes, beings with conscious minds looked up at their own skies. They built their own telescopes, asked their own desperate questions, and felt the same deep, aching wonder that you feel right now. They experienced love. They felt the warmth of their own suns, and they faced the inevitable fading of their own reality. And in an infinite number of future universes, long after our aeon has passed through the fire and into the dark, new minds will awaken. They will look out at a completely different arrangement of stars, governed perhaps by different laws of physics, and they will feel that same ancient spark of curiosity. You are part of an eternal fellowship of observers, a continuous thread of awareness woven through the endless cycles of cosmic death and rebirth. The universe forgets its physical form, but the imperative for consciousness remains an unbroken, infinite chain. Let this majestic vision settle in your mind. The stars you see tonight will die, and the galaxies will drift apart. But the fundamental essence of the cosmos, the raw potential that gives birth to reality, is indestructible. The universe is an endless sunrise, a perpetual dawn breaking across the horizon of eternity. Your life is a precious, vital component of the current dawn. You are the universe experiencing this specific iteration of its infinite beauty. You are the cosmos breathing in, feeling the chill of the void, and preparing to breathe out a universe of light. As we stand on the threshold of this awe-inspiring concept, we must turn our gaze back to our own lives. How do we live with the knowledge of this infinite, participatory, cyclic cosmos? How do we integrate the bizarre truths of quantum mechanics, the eternal block universe, and the endless cycles of rebirth into our daily human experience? In our final chapter, we will return from the absolute edges of space and time to the center of your own mind. We will explore how to carry the universe within you, finding peace, purpose, and profound connection in the simple, miraculous act of being alive. Have you ever taken a deep, conscious breath in the middle of a perfectly quiet night, feeling the cool air fill your lungs, and realize that you are a walking, breathing miracle? We have spent these past hours journeying through the absolute extremes of space and time. We have stood at the edge of the expanding cosmos, watched ancient galaxies dissolve into the freezing dark, and witnessed the breathtaking rebirth of the universe from the ashes of exhaustion. We have explored the mind-bending reality of quantum mechanics, where your simple act of observation forces a wave of infinite probability to collapse into a single, concrete reality. We have wandered through the invisible branching corridors of the multiverse, and we have peered into the holographic memory of a black hole. It is easy, when faced with these staggering, incomprehensible scales, to feel vanishingly small. It is easy to look at the trillions of stars and the endless cycles of eternal time and conclude that our brief, fragile lives are nothing more than insignificant sparks in an uncaring void. But as we return from the absolute edges of the cosmos to the quiet center of your own mind, I want to offer you a profoundly different perspective. I want to show you how the bizarre, beautiful truths we have explored absolutely demand that you view your own existence not as an accident, but as the supreme masterpiece of the universe. Before we weave these final beautiful threads together, allow me to softly pause one last time. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this infinite journey through the wonders of existence. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these videos and share in our midnight contemplations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find a deep sense of peace and wonder in these gentle explorations of the unknown, I softly encourage you to subscribe. It helps our quiet community grow tremendously and lets me know that you wish to continue unraveling these profound ancient mysteries together. Now, let us return to your quiet breath, the beating of your heart, and the magnificent cosmic significance of simply being alive. When you open your eyes in the morning and look out at the world, You are not just a passive camera recording a scene that would exist perfectly well without you. As the brilliant physicist John Archibald Wheeler taught us with his vision of the participatory universe, you are actively participating in the genesis of reality. The light entering your eyes, the sounds reaching your ears, the physical sensation of the ground beneath your feet, all of these exist in a shadowy realm of quantum probability until your conscious mind interacts with them. You are the locus of reality, the quiet, beautiful center where the universe decides what it is going to be. Imagine the profound responsibility and the staggering beauty of that fact. The ancient, sweeping galaxies, the majestic, swirling nebulas, and the deep, silent voids of space have spent 13,800,000,000 years evolving, combining atoms and forging heavy elements in the fiery hearts of dying stars, all so that one day those elements could arrange themselves into a complex, thinking brain capable of looking back at the sky. As the great Carl Sagan so perfectly and gently articulated, the cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself. But we must now take that beautiful thought one step further. We are not merely the universe knowing itself. We are the universe making itself real. Without your quiet, subjective experience, without the rich, emotional depth you bring to the act of observation, the cosmos would be nothing but a blind, unfeeling equation, a silent math problem floating in the dark. Your joy, your sorrow, your fierce love, and your gentle moments of awe are the vibrant colors that the universe uses to paint its masterpiece. Consider the crushing, melancholic weight we often attach to the passage of time. We grieve for the days that have slipped through our fingers, and we fear the uncertain mist of the future. But remember the silent, eternal landscape of the block universe, where Albert Einstein showed us that the distinction between the past, the present, and the future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Every single moment of your life, from the joyful laughter of your childhood to the quiet wisdom of your final days, exists simultaneously and permanently in the four-dimensional crystal of space-time. You do not need to mourn the passing of a beautiful moment, because that moment has not been destroyed. It is eternally preserved, locked safely in the majestic gallery of the cosmos. The universe does not forget. If the holographic principle holds true, the profound, complex information of your entire existence is indelibly written onto the two-dimensional boundary of reality itself. You are a permanent, indestructible feature of the cosmos. And if we consider the breathtaking implications of the multiverse, we realize that the universe is so endlessly generous, so boundlessly creative, that it refuses to let a single one of your potential paths go unlived. Every choice you agonized over, every quiet dream you set aside, is currently flourishing in a parallel branch of the great cosmic tree. You do not need to carry the heavy burden of regret. You only need to walk your specific path, knowing that the universe is experiencing every other possibility through the infinite fractal reflections of your own consciousness. You are living the exact life you are meant to live in this specific, miraculous branch of eternity. This cosmic perspective also profoundly transforms how we must view our connections to one another. We often feel isolated, locked inside the solitary confinement of our own minds, separated from the people around us by the unbridgeable gulf of physical space. But recall the whispering magic of quantum entanglement, where two particles, born from the same primordial fire, remain intimately connected across billions of light years of empty space. The entire universe, including every atom in your body and every atom in the bodies of the people you love, was born from the exact same, infinitely dense point of origin during the Big Bang, we are all deeply, fundamentally entangled. When you share a quiet moment of understanding with a friend, when you hold the hand of someone you deeply love, you are not just experiencing a temporary biological chemical reaction. You are fulfilling the ancient, fundamental destiny of the cosmos. You are allowing the universe to bridge the illusion of separation and experience its own fundamental unity. As the brilliant astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson often reminds us, we are all connected to each other biologically, to the Earth chemically, and to the rest of the universe atomically. We are not just in this universe. The universe is in us. Your capacity to love, to feel empathy, and to offer gentle kindness to a stranger is the universe's most advanced, magnificent mechanism for recognizing itself across the freezing dark. Every act of compassion is a victory over the entropy of the void. And what of the freezing, silent dark of the final heat death, when the last stars have faded? We have learned not to fear this quiet cosmic winter, for we have seen the breathtaking vision of cyclic cosmology. The cosmos is an infinite chain of beautiful, roaring fires separated by periods of restful dark. The fact that our specific iteration of the universe will eventually end highlights its precious, fleeting beauty. We are the lucky ones. We get to witness the magnificent, swirling galaxies, the brilliant suns, and the quiet glow of the moon. We get to ask the deep, existential questions and unravel the mathematical laws that govern the dance of the atoms. So, when you lie awake in the middle of a perfectly quiet night, do not let the vastness of the universe make you feel small. Let it fill you with a profound, unshakable sense of peace. You are not a stranger wandering through a cold, mechanical machine. You are the universe itself, given form and awareness for a brief, beautiful moment. Your consciousness is the light that illuminates the dark. Rest your mind in the gentle certainty that you belong here, that you are necessary, and that your quiet journey through the cosmos is the most beautiful story the universe has ever told. As you close your eyes and drift into the peaceful realm of sleep, carry the entire universe within you. Let the ancient stars watch over your rest, knowing that tomorrow the cosmos will wake up again through your open eyes. The exploration never truly ends. It only deepens into the beautiful, whispering silence. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, keep looking up and keep wondering.